Stay a while and listen.
Good afternoon, my Diablo 2 brethren. Today we're going to take a look at my final verdict of the Javazon. Just wrapped up the Hell campaign solo like I planned to do using my Infinity Merc. Before I get into some of the gameplay, I did want to show you what equipment that I had, as well as we'll talk about that later as we wrap things up in terms of if you need this equipment or not. So wanted you to know what I was actually using as I rolled through Hell and did some of the bosses and some of the fights and stuff. And we'll talk about where things ultimately got a little bit dicey for me. So the stock setup that I was using was, first off, if you look at my Switch, I was using both Titans and Spirit on both of them. One of the things that I found going through the playthrough is when you play for a long extended period of time, my Titans are running out quite a bit. So I was swapping back and forth between those as those things depleted. Using an unsocketed Griffins, minus 18 plus 15, so there's room for improvement there. Basic Titans, non-ethereal. They're basically the same too, if we look at both of them. Modest differences in damage, otherwise identical. Spirits, again, nothing special here. Everybody knows what Spirit is. 35 resists and a bunch of skills and FCR and stuff. Enigma Dusk Shroud. Truthfully told, I don't think I needed the Enigma here. It was nice to bop through some of the stuff like Maggot Lair as well as some of the Throne Room stuff. Just because. But honestly, I would have preferred something with a lot more resistances than just being able to teleport. That said, using something else or even with Enigma equipped, my Javazon was not that fast, so she certainly didn't have a ton of faster run walk or anything like that, so she was a little bit slow. My amulet is nothing special at all. It is all that I found, really. I didn't have anything else that really dropped, and I didn't go digging around for an extra one. Truthfully, it didn't matter. Fire resist did hurt me quite a bit, so that was one of my most dangerous ones as far as regular attacks go. But that 9% didn't really do much. Ultimately, just a basic multi-res ring with lightning resistance. Lightning resist is going to be my biggest obstacle because of the Sunder Charm. Obviously, I have the worst roll on a Sunder Charm. That's my biggest issue with this particular build is the focus on the Sunder Charm and needing to stack lightning resistance. I did not do that with the gear that I had. I obviously had very subpar gear. Even if you consider, if you consider the Griffins, yes, I had elite gear, but everything else as far as running a Javazon was not really optimized. Maybe T-Gods was. I don't know if there's really a better belt for a Javazon, but this is what I was using here. The other ring I swapped over to a Raven Frost for the Cannot Be Frozen and a little bit extra mana. For boots, I'm wearing basic Sandstorms. Nothing special there. I didn't dig around for extra boots. I have other ones, but I wasn't gonna go Magic Find, and these seem like the best that I had available. Gloves, again, nothing special, just a +2 Jav. That's the only reason I have them, is +2. I never found anything better. So, charms-wise, a maxed out Fire Res Grand Charm, decent sized Cold Res, my Sunder, and Lightning, not quite maxed out, and another Cold Res. Have an Annie that I found laying around, 1017, plus poison damage. Don't know why I had it. I had it since early in the game. 14 of life, and this Magic Find Charm I got somewhere when I was actually running, so minor. Skill-wise, I had some unspent skill points that I didn't use. Just pop those into Power Strike, and I have a bunch of stat points unspent, so as far as stats go, I was paranoid that I was going to find something I wanted to wear and maybe wouldn't have had strength or wouldn't have had dexterity for it or whatever the case would be. I didn't go for max block as far as defense goes. Here we go. So 67% there. As far as my block here, chance to block is 47% on the shield. Again, I don't do anything that looks at max block, so usually I just take extra points and throw them into vitality. Don't really know why I didn't. Now that I beat the Hell campaign, um, I don't see why not. Just throw the rest of these into vitality, and that's that. So probably could have poured more into Dex, but I don't think that would have increased Lightning Fury. And truthfully told, it didn't need to. Lightning Fury cleared pretty much everything. With that said, let's jump into a little bit of gameplay. I didn't get a chance to record Andario, so we started Duriel. I asked ChatGPT how long it should take. They said about 4 to 5 hits with a well-equipped Javazon. So I went in there pretty confident, and I whacked him in 3 hits. So I was pretty happy with that. Only got a single town portal, but I did get an essence for my troubles. Um, all all things considered, I was very happy with how that went. My first real struggles, solo and hell, really came from Trav. Mostly because I knew the council was going to be a problem because they would probably gang up on me. I was worried about getting a curse like a conviction, and then the hydras as well. So I have really terrible resistances, so it was going to be tough for me. My Valkyrie died very quickly, and then my Merc died quick too. So I was chugging rejuve potions to get out of there, and I ultimately had to teleport to get away just to recover myself. And so even teleporting away, I ended up into some trash mobs, and things did not look good. Um, I was thinking about going back to revive my Merc, but ultimately I didn't feel like it was totally necessary because most of the guys were dead anyways. I just wanted to get in there and clean things up. So a couple little stragglers. I had to get Turk. I got my Valkyrie in there to tank, and then you can see throwing those single Lightning Furies against us, solo bosses isn't that great. A couple of stragglers here run in there and charge strike them to death to get rid of it, but my showing in Trav was not very good. I don't think this is one where I'd be doing Trav runs with this particular character. Probably not a good option with what I have. I don't have the resistance and survivability. Um, Mephisto was not a concern of mine because he was another boss and he was going to have a massive hitbox. And of course, he goes down on just a few hits with no damage to myself at all. So very, very easy. Moving into Act 4, taking on Iswal, same thing. Charge Strike makes quick work of regular bosses, is certainly going to handle many bosses. I was excited to see what was going to happen in Chaos Sanctuary because so many people use Javazons in Chaos Sanctuary, either for rune running or I don't know if they do them for Magic Find. Obviously, I do not have Magic Find on this character here, so it's not something that I would choose to do. If it goes fast enough, I would consider it for doing runes because it does work pretty well. But this is the first instance where I noticed that because things were going so well for me, I needed to understand like, do I need all this gear that I actually have? So obviously with Griffins and the Infinity and the Sunder Charm, that's kind of the holy trinity as far as rocking a Jabazon. And so after I ran this one, I decided I was going to run it again, taking off the Infinity and seeing if just Griffins was enough to do the same thing. So we'll run those things parallel to each other. Couple of things of note here when we compare them, they don't have the same map, which is a little bit of a bias, but ultimately they had pretty equivalent run times if you would balance things out. Um, but I was happy with clear time so far. I don't know what fast clear time is supposed to be. If you have Enigma and can teleport all the way up there, I'm sure you can go through chaos runs pretty quickly. I generally don't run them myself because my primary is summon Necro, so it's just not something that I do. I tend to focus on other areas where there's a lot more just open spaces and just less things to worry about. So nothing super eventful as we go through here. We're just grinding through the um, boss pieces, working on our seals here. I don't like this final wing, if you will. I don't like when it loops around like this one. This is my least favorite map layout for the Infector wing, just because it takes more time and I get a lot of these onesie twosies that I have to deal with, and two separate waves of enemies that I have to kill. I was not worried about going into the Diablo fight based on the bosses that I had fought in previously. So Duriel and Mephisto both went down very, very quickly. So barring any type of instant hellfire where he, opens up the ground, which usually kills my Merc in my normal Diablo runs. But I figured this is going to be so fast, it was not going to be an issue. So now we get into the comparison. You'll see with Infinity, again, I have my least desirable map layout on the Vizier. I prefer the forked one without Infinity, so you can see I'm already ahead. Just because it's easier to group those together, especially with Lightning Fury. You're fighting essentially one cluster instead of two. Um, the without Infinity started to lag behind just a little bit because I started getting these guys in here that I kind of felt I had to kill. Again, I don't have a ton of experience running chaos runs, so I'm guessing most people when they run these, they probably run by these singletons like this and don't waste time, because a regular Lightning Fury just doesn't work well, and the time it takes to run up there and do charge strike, you may as well just run past them and wait until you spawn the group and whack all of them. So at this point, they're almost identical in their locations, and it's just a matter of what the cleanup is. Got really fortunate that without Infinity, Desay spawned right there, so I was able to hit him, and everything else was cleared out already. Whereas now with Infinity, I had to double back around and get him at that point. As I enter in the final wing without Infinity, there's a few champions that I had to take on, but ultimately the without Infinity run also has my preferred map for the Infector wing as well. Mostly because when you hit that first seal, I don't have to go in there and kill everybody else. You hit the first seal, and then Infector spawns with everybody else, and we know what Lightning Fury does. It absolutely, swamps everybody. So um, very easy to handle this wing here when you just run in and hit that seal and you can hit everybody. I mean, I technically didn't do that here, but that's how I'd normally run that. Now we can see that it's really outpacing the with Infinity run. One of my big things with this is it seems like because I'm trying to run it faster and run it optimally, I find myself in front of my Merc a lot, and that Infinity isn't catching up anyways, which is why I feel like things are going so well, just because you don't have to sit and wait on the mercenary. Just something that I notice, and partially why I don't feel like you need Infinity. And so I think having Insight might be better because I'm chugging less potions. All things, it was about 20 seconds faster. That's a combination of confidence going into it the second time, as well as better map, if you will. I think if you balance these things out, they probably would even out pretty closely. With the Ancients, again, this is Act 5. Usually there's a difficulty spike in Act 5, and doing Ancients for the first time in Hell is always challenging. But I was pretty confident with the way that the Charge Strike was handling bosses that this would be super easy too. Pretty sure Madoc is the one that had the Lightning immune, which is why that one took a little bit longer, but ultimately no danger there. Um, So then, when we get into the throne room, I fast forward all the way to this. The rest of Act 5 was nothing, so we just hit the highlights. Obviously, when you do throne room the first time with any solo character in Hell, this is where things are the true test of whether or not you're ready, particularly with Lister's pack. Everything up through this, not really too dangerous. That third wave there with the Hydras and my resistances, obviously the most susceptible, but otherwise very easy. So what I decided to do with this one here is much like Chaos. I wanted to see, could I have gotten through without the really elite gear? So I ended up running this a second and a third time. The second time I pulled off Infinity just like in Chaos and still didn't really have any trouble clearing it. Clear times are obviously not as good. And so then I ran it a third time and I took off the Griffins too and replace it with just a random Valkyrie wing that I had laying around. Was still able to clear it. It's just a matter of clear times. But in most of the cases, I wasn't in any real danger. So I mean, I could have soloed Hell without elite gear, and truthfully, I could have put different armor on instead of the Enigma and been just fine because I had a lot better resistances. So if you're wondering whether or not you can clear hell without having this hardcore Javazon gear, you absolutely can. I mean, if I can, you certainly can as well. The biggest issue with time running these second ones, I don't know if it was because my lack of kill speed or something else, or just bad luck. But in both instances, my Merc dies on the third wave due to Hydras. I don't think any of the council members had auras or anything that hurt him, so I think it was just a matter of him getting ganked by fire. But he doesn't survive either of the wave threes. And with the Sunder only, I actually had a harder time killing them too. You can see I'm kind of hiding behind a pillar there, just trying to stay alive after everything else is dead. So that was the first instance where I really kind of struggled a little bit. And while my primary run is basically done now, we're at Lister's pack and they go down in a couple of hits. I'm still working on getting my people revived in my other runs, so you can see that the kill times are going to be much more different. In additionally, the Sunder run, I had all my gold stash elsewhere, so I didn't even have money to revive my Merc. I had to move stuff around from my stashes, so that's part of the kill time. So I think all of these together, there's like 30 seconds difference between the kill times, or the clear times. Minute and a half from start to finish with the first wave of Throne on Infinity plus Griffs. And then with just Griffs, it rounds up to about 2 minutes here. Doesn't take very long to kill with Griff still. A couple extra hits without the Infinity, but still no real concern here as far as safety wise and being able to actually win. So, like I said, about 30 seconds longer for just Griffins only. Still clearable without any trouble. And then Sunder only, still able to make quick work of Lister. So no troubles there. Didn't have to revive or anything like that. My Merc, very easy to get through. The biggest issue with Sunder only is the kill times are a little bit slower. Bale put up as much of a fight as he ever had, but I was still able to beat him without any real danger to myself, suggesting that you can too. If you can find yourself a Sunder, I have plenty. If you want one, I'll give you one. People are willing to give them away for free too if you get the really bad rolls. To round things out, I got just a few seconds of cow runs as well. When we get into the cow runs, I think a lot of people build the Javazons for cow runs because there's such a high density of cows in here. So you can see 3 minutes for that one, quite a bit longer. Obviously, very fun and very soothing when you see all these cows just die on screen. I don't really like it when they start to get onesie twosie. It slows things down. I don't know if I'm going to keep this for cow running. I'm ultimately probably going to delete this character, but I'm definitely going to move the Infinity off her. It wasn't mine anyways. So, but that's a little bit of a look at whether or not you can beat you know hell with the Javazon, and I'm pretty sure that you can. So, with that said, I'll see you next time.